Hello, my name is Roberto from SciPro Math. In this tutorial, I'd like to show you how to solve quadratic equations with the app, which is very simple. Let's go into the application. And the first thing we need to know is know how to navigate to the area where quadratic equations are, and that's located on screen number 10. You can either navigate to that area of the calculator by using the function keys. I'm going to press the third and the fifth function keys, and you see how the screen changes and it displays number 10 on top. Okay. In addition to that way of navigating, which is using the function keys, I can also navigate using the direct link to the app. I just did so to get to the original screen number 10. If I press number 10, if I press these numbers allow me to navigate to the different screens using a direct link to the screen. So I'm going to press number 10, which is the screen where quadratic equations are located. I'm going to type it in. Then I'm going to press those buttons, and you see how right away I am brought to this area of the app of the calculator that has quadratic equations. So as you will notice, there is already a quadratic equation in there, which is 1x squared, 0x, and 0. I'm going to replace those values by values of my own. So the first value, 1x squared, I'm going to leave the same. The second one, I'm going to replace it for 5. I'm going to use the value transfer function on top, that there. See, I'm pressing it twice. And then I'm going to press the place where I want that value to go. Okay, so 1x squared, 5x, and on the third place, I am going to replace that by negative 36. So I'm going to type in negative 36. I will press the value transfer function, and I will press the 36 again to store the data there. So already the equation is inside, so I can now go ahead and get the different answers for the different calculations. So the first value, which is the first solution, will be number 4. The second solution will be number 9. That's amazingly simple to get this data. And then you can check to make sure that there are no imaginary solutions, imaginary parts to the solutions. In addition to this, we can also get the vertex of the equation. This is the vertex, the x value of the vertex. The y value of the vertex will be this. The discriminant is on this section, 169, and the y-intercept, which is obviously negative 36, you can get it by pressing that number. Okay. Now that the equation is inside there, I can also show you that you can evaluate different values of the at this equation by just pressing. For example, let's say I want to evaluate 1. 1 evaluated would be negative 30, of course. 2 evaluated, 22. 3 evaluated, 12. 4 evaluated will be 36. Okay. Now I'd like to show you that in addition to evaluating numbers, you can also get the inverse of a number. Okay. To get the inverse, you're gonna press this button on the other side of the screen, which is the j of x inverse. Okay. Now, if you evaluate that number again, I will show you how to get the second inverse of the quadratic equation, because remember the quadratic equation has two values, one from one side and the other one from the other side. So the other one from the other side is 10. You can confirm that this is correct by evaluating the number again and getting number 14 as an answer. Okay, let me clear this. In addition, something else you can do is already you can get the first derivative at a value. Let's say that at number 5 you want to get the derivative at that particular value. The derivative of the equation, the function you put in here at number 5 would be 15. The second derivative would be a constant, because of course it's a quadratic equation, will give you a constant as a second derivative. This is especially useful when you're dealing with how to calculate the concavity of a function, whether it's concave up or concave down, and to establish whether you have critical points and points of inflection. All that stuff is calculated using the first and second derivative of a function. Okay. Another thing you can do is let me just type in another equation. I'm gonna replace all those values. I'm gonna reset the equation so that all this data can be erased. I am going to type in another equation to give you an example of an equation that will give you imaginary numbers as solutions, imaginary solutions. So let me, I'm going to leave one the same. The second part, I am going to replace it by 3. The third part, I'm going to replace it by -4. So 1x squared, 3x, and -4. And you will notice that, well, this one doesn't have any imaginary solution. So let me change the number 4 to +4, just to make sure that I have an equation that gives me imaginary solution. Yes, this one does. Exactly. So you will notice that this equation does give me imaginary solutions. And let me calculate the vertex, the determinant, the discriminant, and also the y-intercept. You will notice that the discriminant is negative, which indicates that it actually has imaginary solutions. Remember that. I'm sure you remember that from your algebra classes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to confirm this calculator can also evaluate imaginary numbers to make sure that you indeed have zeros of the equation. The solutions should give you 0. So let me evaluate, just as a way to illustrate how to evaluate different imaginary solutions or imaginary numbers. Any imaginary numbers you can evaluate it. So I'm going to press the real part of the equation of these imaginary numbers, and I'm going to store it on the location A right here. So I had to press the number and then hit the value transfer function and then hit the A to store it. On the B, I am going to store the imaginary solution, the imaginary part of the solution, which is this one. I'm going to press the value transfer function. I'm going to press the B again. So the two values are already stored. These J of X, these two buttons over here, actually evaluated the function to make sure that these two numbers together are imaginary. This would be, of course, the real part. This would be the imaginary part. They are indeed both zeros, which indicates that the solution is actually a 0 of the function. Okay. Well, with nothing else to add, I would like to congratulate you for getting through to the end of this video. I'm going to go back to the home screen again. Enjoy the rest of it. I will continue to do more videos on how to show and solve most of the really difficult parts of mathematics using SciPro Math. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Take care.